Alright, folks, time to make my UFC 201 Lawler versus Woodley predictions. And, I gotta say, after, 3 or 4 pay per views in a row that have been really, really outstanding looking, take a look at UFC 201, you can't help but be kind of disappointed. It's not really the best looking lineup we've had this year, and it's certainly a huge letdown after UFC 200 and 199 and 198. And it's really, really sort of distressing for me because it's actually happening in Atlanta, and I live in Atlanta, and literally the UFC swings by like once every 4 years. It only happens in election years for some reason. I don't know why, but it's the way it works out. And it's the last time I get a chance to see them locally for years and years. And they give us Robbie Lawler in the main event. Not that he's a bad fighter, just that the fight that he's given against Tyrone Woodley, a guy who hasn't fought in like a year and a half, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So anyway, we'll go down the line. We'll make our picks for all the main card matchups, prelims. I know this had a quick change in the lineup. I'm doing this like a week before the actual show. So things change. Everything is tentative. That's why they put the little warning on the card. So main event, Robbie Lawler taking on Tyrone Woodley. Just looking at the stats, Woodley the better submission fighter. Lawler, he's got the height advantage, even reach advantage. Leg reach goes to Woodley. Significant strikes netted per minute favors Lawler. Accuracy slight tilt towards Woodley. Strikes absorbed per minute favors Woodley. Defense slightly favors Lawler. Grappling, well, this one's pretty much a no-brainer here. Woodley averaging about 1.92 takedowns per fight against 0.82 for Woodley. However, takedown accuracy is better for Lawler, and takedown defense clearly is better for Woodley. 91.67% of all takedowns against him defended. Only 67.33% defended for Lawler. So Lawler, he had a really, really tough time against Carlos Condit back in January in that Fight of the Year candidate. I mean, personally, I didn't think Condit really had that much fight in him. So I'm not really sure if that was just like an all-time performance from Condit or Lawler just kind of slacked off. He's not really taking his training seriously. Kind of figured, it'd just be a breeze. So hopefully that kind of woke him up. I think he went into that fight and realized, okay, I got to bring it. I just can't rest on my laurels. I can't go in there and just trade and bang, and hope for the best like I did against what's his name? Well, Johnny Hendricks second time around, but also Rory McDonald, and the one where Lawler literally broke his face. And Woodley, he's a good striker, but wrestling is his strong suit. But Lawler's done very well with the short jab against guys like Johnny Hendricks, who is a very good wrestler. It worked against Rory McDonald, who's a great wrestler and a tremendous striker. So I look at Tyrone Woodley and I'm like, what does the guy bring that Lawler hasn't faced before? And honestly, there's nothing there. And secondly, Tyrone Woodley, we all know he's got some bad cardio. There are some issues there. Lawler, we know it's in his gas tank. He can go a full 25 minutes. All of this says, if you're doing a smart pick, you go with Lawler. Woodley, there's been crazy upsets all year round, but I just got to look at this and say, Lawler, he's just the better fighter all the way around. He's more experienced. He's had tougher competition. He's more complete. I just think he goes in there with a very evidence-based fighting model. He jabs you, he gets in close, he doesn't let up, and it works. And Woodley's not going to be able to go in there and get the takedown set up. I don't think his striking is anywhere near as efficient as Lawler's. And really, there's no reason for Lawler to lose this fight. Probably the smart bet is to say it's going to go full 5 rounds. But I don't think Woodley has the gas tank for it. I think Lawler goes in there. This thing gets stopped late in the third. Lawler, he retains. All right. The rest of the main card, I'm going to do this very, very quickly because, frankly, there's not a whole lot to talk about. We got Rose Namajunas, whose nickname is endearingly Thug. great, not controversial namesake to give a female competitor at all, UFC. And she's taking on Carolina. She's taking on Carolina K. Wow, I hope she never ever gets into a feud with Joanna Champion, because if it does, good lord. Alright, so it's USA against Poland. Rose Namajunas has never had a KO. She gets lots of submissions. Slight height advantage. Don't have to worry about weight. Reach is even. According to UFC, Carolina's leg reach is 0 inches because she doesn't have legs, apparently, I'm guessing. But yeah, look at this. Woo, striker. Look at this. 6.17 significant strides landed per minute for Carolina K. Wow, that is crazy. But takedowns per fight, Rose Namajunas, she gets 3.49. That's pretty impressive. But Carolina's got great takedown defense. Only about 95% of all takedowns are stuffed. That's impressive. But then again, Rose also has a submission average of 1.45 compared to 0. So we know what to expect. Carolina is going to punch, and Rose is going to try to take her down and submit her. Well, I guess Rose is probably the more complete fighter with the submissions, and not really a striking fighter. I don't really imagine Carolina goes in there and just, pops her. So I'm going to go with Rose. No, wait, actually I'm not, because I remember what happened to Miesha Tate against Amanda Nunes, because Miesha Tate was a more complete fighter there. She's more takedown oriented, and she got just murder, death, killed. All right, I'm changing my mind. I'm going with what I know. I'm going with Carolina Kowalkiewicz, and she's going to win by first round ground and pound TKO. Don't mess with Poland. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. All right, moving on. We got Matt Brown taking on Jake Ellenberger in a fight that really feels like it's imported from the year 2011. I'm not sure why this is a main card event on UFC, but whatever. I really have to say this every time about Matt Brown. He's a guy where his nickname, the Immortal, comes from the fact that he's actually like a heroin addict. Like, that's how he got the name, because he had an overdose and he didn't die. And he's also from, I believe it's Xenia, Ohio, which is the same city which was the location for Gummo, the great Harmony Korine movie. And that's really all you need to know about Matt Brown. I mean, he's a guy who's really entertaining. He brings it, but he's kind of vanilla. I mean, he doesn't really have that distinctive a fighting style. And then Jake Ellenberger. I mean, you look at these two guys. I'm looking at them on the UFC website. I can't tell them apart. This is going to be confusing. You got some kind of short white dude with a goatee taking on another short white dude with a goatee. Okay, this is crazy. I'm going to let you look at this. Tell me you can tell the difference between these two people. Seriously, it's like mirror images. You could just swap them out and no one would be the wiser. I really don't want to be the person having to call that one. That's got to be a headache. But anyway, height advantage goes towards Brown. Reach advantage goes towards Brown. Strikes landed per minute goes towards Brown. Accuracy goes towards Brown. Defense favors Ellenberger. Takedown average for Jake Ellenberger. Takedown accuracy slight. Okay, well, takedown looks like everything leans towards Ellenberger, but striking and submission goes towards Matt Brown. Really, this fight has little no relevance in the welterweight division. I'm going to go with Matt Brown by decision, because why not? All right, continue on our merry way. Francisco Rivera, whose nickname is Cisco, because they thought long and hard about that. Taking on Eric Perez. So it's USA versus Mexico. Height similar, weight similar, reach identical, leg reach identical. Francisco Rivera is getting more significant strides per minute. Accuracy pretty much dead even. Rivera is also getting hit pretty much twice as many times per fight as Eric Perez. Defense, pretty much a tilt. Takedown average goes towards Perez. Takedown accuracy and takedown defense, pretty much dead even. Submissions, pretty negligible. Tough call. This was difficult. So I'm going to go with Eric Perez because he looks younger. It looks like Rivera, he's got some years on him. So I always go with youth in that scenario. Go with Perez, decision, maybe even split. I'm being very scientific with these picks, as you can tell. All right, Ian McCall taking on Justin Scoggins, and these guys just look all sorts of like hipster white guy village living in a gentrified community, drinking $6 cup coffee. But yeah, Ian McCall, his nickname is Uncle Creepy because why not associate as a pedophile? I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want to have that as their branding iconography? Well, anyway, McCall taking on Scoggins. I'll be quick about this. I'll cut out with a joke because you don't want to hear it. Height, not really an issue. Reach, not an issue. Leg reach, not an issue. Simca strikes, pretty even. Accuracy, striking leans towards Scoggins. McCall's getting hit twice as many times per fight as Scoggins. Defense, slight tilt towards McCall. Takedown average, Justin Scoggins is getting about 5 per fight compared to his 2 for Ian McCall. Takedown accuracy goes towards Scoggins. Takedown defended, kind of even. Submission's not really going to be a factor in this fight. I'm going to go with the Justin Scoggins decision. There's going to be lots of decisions on this show. If you don't like that, too bad. Alright, so for the rest of the show, doing very, very, very quick picks here, not even going to try to be technical. We got Nikita Krylov taking on Ed Herman. Ed Herman has a man bun, so he's going to lose. I've never actually seen Nikita Krylov win any fight in the UFC, though, so that should... Okay, I'm going to go with Ed Herman. Ed Herman, first round knockout, because Nikita, not to be confused with Nikita Koloff, the 1980s evil Soviet wrestler. Nikita Krylov, ranked 11 in the heavyweight division. He's going to lose. Don't worry. Ed Herman, first round knockout. Ross Pearson with his terrible, terrible tattoos taking on Jorge Masvidal. If we were in 2011 earlier, now we're in 2008. I'm going to go with Ross Pearson. Decision. We got Wilson Race, who at one point was actually getting a title shot against Demetrius Johnson, but Johnson pulled out, and now he's fighting on Fox Sports 2, taking on Hector Sandoval. I'm going to go with Wilson Reese. He's a very, very bad dude. He wins this one by TKO. Second round, maybe even first. Just go with him to win. And the Fight Pass fights, Michael Graves. Not to be confused with the lead singer of the Misfits, to go after Glenn Danzig left. Just not the same person. Taking on Bohan Vilakovic, whose nickname is Serbian Steel. And Michael Graves, I mean, he just looks all sorts of like 1980s, like bad guy, exploitation, B-action movie, villain caliber. Which is enough for me to give him the advantage. I think he goes in there and he holds off Bohan or Bojan, how you pronounce these Serbian names. Give it to Graves, decision. Now we got Anthony Hamilton taking on Damian Grabowski. And there are a lot of Polish fighters on this show tonight, which is weird, like, because usually the UFC, whenever they do a show in an ethnically sort of centric community, like in Boston, I just have a whole bunch of Irish fighters because you have the Irish community. Dudes, let me tell you something. I live in Atlanta. We don't have a Polish community. I mean, if there is, like, they're way, like, hidden. So I'm not really sure, like, how this happened. It's just a fluke thing, but if it's intentional, they're really, really overlooking their demographic. Damon Grabowski and Anthony Hamilton. I'm going to go with Anthony Hamilton by first round knockout. That should be entertaining. And, of course, we got Damian Brown taking on Cesar Goku Arzamendia. Paraguay taking on Australia in a lightweight contest. I'm going with Caesar. He's got some pretty good stats. Damian, they're just all right. So there you go. Those are my picks. Like I said, it's in my neck of the woods. Will I go see it in person? If I get tickets, maybe. If I don't, I might order it. I might not order it. I might go to the sports bar and see it. I probably won't. But, yeah, I'm not. It's just not that good of a show. But, yeah, hold on. Get through this one. We got UFC 202 coming up. We got UFC 203. We got the show in England with Michael Bisping probably fighting Dan Henderson. And then the Madison Square Garden show, which should be awesome. We don't even know who's going to be fighting, but you know it's going to be awesome because we've been trying to get Madison Square Garden forever, and it's finally happening. So let's get through 201. Let's get Lawler and Woodley and Rose Namajunas and Matt Brown. Let's get this over with so we move on to shows we actually want to pay money to see. So there you go. Those are my picks. Take them, don't take them. This is what I do. And I'll be seeing you at the cage shortly. For when we have, the UFC show it's actually, worth paying money for.